I'm really tall.
Okay, yeah, that works. All right, so I'm here with my good friend Jose. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Yeah, basically every fitness video I like to have somebody different to give their perspective on fitness, health, exercise, all that. Let's just start about your fitness journey, Jose.
Well, just like most kids, was involved in sports early on in life. Soccer was my first sport. Played it quite frequently, daily. I grew up, I'm a little bit older than most guys, 45, but sports have changed over the last 20, 25 years. It's become so specialized and so driven on just focusing on one sport. But soccer was the first sport, and then at the age of 5 I picked it up, and then once I got to junior high, then I started picking up baseball and playing football and those kind of things, and then eventually I picked up basketball for the first time in high school. And believe it or not, basketball just became very easy. I think that a lot of the footwork from soccer transferred to basketball, and basketball was so easy and fun for me. I did track. I was fairly quick. I think from playing soccer, I had the short sprint, but I also like talking about endurance and conditioning. People don't understand, but you're playing 90 minutes a game in soccer, big field. So there's a lot of running involved, endurance. So not only do you have the short speed, quickness, sprinting, but then you also have the conditioning for long distance that I actually did fairly well in the 800 meters in junior high. So I kind of played a little bit of everything growing up. Went to Bakersfield High School, graduated in '93, and then I had a friend of mine who kind of introduced me to working out, and I picked it up from there. And I would say that typically most of the guys who either pick up weightlifting, early on in high school, most guys pick it up because of football or sports, but then there's a second component also because they want to look good to attract females or whatnot. And I was no different, man. I was doing it for the flesh. But I started working out right around in '94, my freshman year in college. I started picking up the weights and then went from there and never really looked back. But through this journey, you experiment and you see things. What works for you, what doesn't work. I've seen it all. I've seen buddies who've gone different routes, whether taking supplements or doing steroids or whatnot. But what's the old saying is it's not the fastest that wins the race, it's the slowest with the persistent. And here we are 25 years later, and all my buddies who used to take supplements and juice or whatnot, they're at home sitting on the couch watching this.
So in high school, they didn't have you lifting weights that much when you played football?
It wasn't, back then it really wasn't. I don't think weightlifting and sports didn't really come into involved until probably I would say in the late 80s. Most coaches don't really believe in that. Like even your top athletes, I think like Michael Jordan didn't really start picking up weights until like 4 or 5 years into his career, and that was out of necessity because of he was trying to get over the hump with the Bulls. I don't know if you're too familiar with basketball, but they were a physical team, and he needed to bulk up for the year. So when they faced in the playoffs, he had the mass and the strength to take the pounding and beating. But other than that, you really didn't. Growing up, we didn't lift weights. Like I said, sports have become such a science, such a specialized focus now that there's specialized nutrition and workouts and lifts designed specifically for that sport, to make you better at that skill. And back then we didn't have the science. It was like we did our working out for soccer was running, conditioning. But we didn't really lift much weights. We kind of played around with them here and there, but it wasn't. I don't think that the science and the coaches really understood the importance of lifting and how important that could help you when you're whatever sport that you're playing, whether it's golf, whether it's swimming, whether it's soccer, whether it's baseball, whether it's football. So there wasn't much lifting.
back then. Other than for football, I remember, you had 0 period for the football players in high school, but other than that, the rest of the athletes didn't really get into the weight room,
And do you remember like the workouts you guys did for football, weightlifting wise?
It was a lot of power lifting, like your bench, your squats, presses, a lot of Olympic lifts, clean and jerk. But other than that, the sled and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's very different than what you have now. I think high school still does that. They still focus on a lot of for football, the explosion, the strength, because that's what's required for that sport. But not like you would think, doing curls and triceps and specific designs that are more solely designed for bodybuilding, for more of a physique look than a performance component,
Yeah, I remember for my high school when I did football, we did bench squat, cleans, deadlifts. Mostly.
Yeah, a lot of powered and explosiveness, right? Which is required for football because football is a quick sport, right? And then you take your break and it's quick. So that's kind of a little bit of the background of what we did back in my day, the late 80s, early 90s.
So now we know about your journey of fitness. How has it changed your life, would you say?
Well, so let's back up a little bit. So like I said, I initially started experimenting with weights due to sports and the flesh, wanting to look better to attract, women and whatnot. And through the years, I've had to evolve and adapt to my age and things like that. I went through a divorce process, still going through it started about 3 years ago, and I've never stopped working out. But working out was one of the things that kind of helped me and maintain. That's the one thing that I've always known. I've never missed the gym. I've had a broken jaw, I have broken legs. I've never missed the gym more than 2 days ever in my life. That's been always the consistent, persistent thing. Broken jaw, fever, whatnot, flu, I still go. If I'm breathing, I have the mentality that I'll still go. But through this process, it kind of helped me sustain. And I was in a really, really dark place where I was entering depression. And I needed my outlet was obviously God, but then also working out. So I started going twice a day, lifting in the mornings and lifting in the afternoons, before work and after work. My regular routine is always to wake up at 4:30, do devotion and whatnot, and then get ready and make it to the gym by 5:30, and then get ready for my work day. And then after work, we do family. But during this process, the breakup of the family, I decided I couldn't be here, man. It was just driving me into depression and anxiety that I decided to start going to the gym. At the time I was 42, a lot of my buddies and a lot of people from the gym like, what are you thinking, what are you doing? There's no way, you're 42, you don't take supplements, you don't juice, your body's gonna break down. And at that point, it wasn't about the physical, it was about the mind of just an outlet. A lot of athletes talk about whatever's going on in life, once they enter the game, they're able to block things out. And then for me, that was kind of the same thing. So normally my splits are 2 muscle groups a day. So for the most part, I switch it, but my foundation, what I normally like to do is chest, back. Actually legs, quads and hams, calves. One day, the next split, the next session is chest and back, and then the next session is biceps and triceps, and then the next one is shoulders and traps. But with that kind of split, if you're going twice a day, you're going through a whole body part in 2 days. So there wasn't enough recovery. Nutrition had to be on point too, since I'm not taking any supplements, I'm not taking anything. I'm a little bit older than most guys. So right around 3 months, man, I was also doing cardio. I was doing probably cardio twice a day after each workout.
Wow.
So the body started breaking down. Hammies, I pulled a hammy, body started hurting, joints and stuff like that. So then I had to come up with a different recovery method. I started jumping in the pool early in the mornings,
cold water, cold therapy, helps with inflammation. My nutrition started being more on point, eating foods that help with inflammation, with recovery. Started eating a lot more, at that time I was eating 8-9 times a day, meals, don't do shakes, don't do, it was whole meals.
Yeah.
Just because I believe that whole meals are better than supplements. You actually see what you're eating. Your body has to actually work to process all that food, which in turn burns calories, and it just better quality, for recovery. And I noticed that it started kind of helping me. Then I also started kind of modifying my workouts. If I hit legs really hard one day, the next time I did legs, instead of really hitting them hard, I went more for a pump and more for a burnout instead. So I had to kind of adjust my workouts too to be able to keep that pace. But now I'm going over 2 years now, and I'm still keeping that same pace. I'm still going twice a day, and my body has responded better than ever. I'm healthier than ever. I can do anything a 25-year-old can do.
Yeah.
You want to go run 5-6 miles today? We can do that
easily. Easily.
You want to run sprints? We can run sprints. You want to lift? We can lift. You want to play soccer? You want to play basketball? Whatever you want to. So my whole focus now has been, I want to be the best athlete, the best shape that I can be, regardless of what it is. I want to be able to be agile. I want to be able to run. I want to be able to, if somebody invites me to play basketball, hey, let's go play. Hey, do you want to go play soccer? Let's go. And I tried to. I was before this whole coronavirus, but then that put a stop to a lot of things, leagues and stuff like that. But now my goal is just trying to see how long I can sustain this pace. How long can I keep this physique, this body? How long I can stay healthy, mentally, spiritually, but physically.